then I'm going to begin by thanking any and all of you who are out there in the universe. This is a first for me, and I'm in controlled excitement. Social media has not been my forte, and for those of you who can hear me, I'm stalling a little bit because I'm waiting for people to begin to check in, and as has been in the past, people start checking in at about 8 o'clock, and for the first few minutes, we've had kind of silence. Now Hans is my engineer and everything else, and so I'm going to ask him, do we have people beginning to tune in, Mr. Hans? Then I'm going to let people know that I'm stalling right now because I'd like people to settle in and remind any people who are listening at this point in time that they can email in their questions if they haven't done so already. And we will also have an opportunity for a live question and answer. And I'm hoping that you're still smiling, and I'm still smiling, as this is a first for me, not live on television, but live on Facebook. And I have been anticipating this evening because it opens a whole new door for AccuWeight loss. And Facebook is a wonderful medium for me to connect with you. I have been doing these phone calls monthly now for about a year, but people have only been able to hear me. And now, for those of you who are not in the New York metropolitan area, you can actually see me. So I do exist. As some people have said that Dr. Schwartz is just a mythical being, I am actually real. And if you pinch me, I do feel it. It's coming up on 5 minutes after the hour, so I'm going to wait. Hans, more people signing in? Well, the, and for those of you who come to either Paramus or West Orange, that voice you heard speaking to me is my absolutely marvelous IT person. And as you noticed, he has a kind of Dutch accent, and not like Dr. Chu, who was Asian, and my teacher and mentor, Hans, is much more laid back. What do you think, Hans? Thank you, and thank you all for being here with me this evening. I'm very excited, even though I'm kind of controlled. This is the first time since I've started these chats that you can actually see me. And the interaction is the key. What I want to talk about this evening is the fact that much of the success of the weight loss on AccuWeight is because of the fact that with many people, I've been able to make you real. There was a gentleman this morning in his 40s who started the program. He was recommended by a friend, and his reluctance and his anxiety was obvious. How could something where you eat almost nothing and massage beads behind your ears cause a person to lose weight? I reassured him immediately that it was not the program that was the problem. It was him, his belief system. And what I want to do first is talk to all of you about our maintenance program conceptually. To my knowledge, there is no program out there that has a maintenance program that is anywhere near as successful as ours. And the reason for it is very simple. I have seen some absolutely marvelous maintenance programs. I've tried some of them. And the reason none of them worked for me is because they were not mine. Someone else had developed them, and I was using the thoughts of someone else and trying to make them mine. It only works for a short time. We human beings are very strange. We don't like to be put in a frame. We want our freedom. Our maintenance program developed by Dr. Chu is 180 degrees different. Because instead of me telling you what to do, you are going to tell me what you want to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Not only that, but we have a judge. That judge is totally impartial and has no emotion. The judge's name is the scale. It tells you whether you've been successful. It tells you whether you have stayed the same. And it tells you whether you have not been successful. And just with that information over a period of time, you can create an image of yourself that you're willing to live with. The average person on our transition maintenance program is now keeping the weight off for almost 7 years. To be exact, 6 years and 9 months. With that in mind, I want to now come back to the fact that the reason that maintenance program has been successful is because it makes you the center. It makes your decisions important. It makes your thoughts important. And one other thing. Because the maintenance program is one-on-one, you are interacting with either your counselor or with me. And the fact that you are sharing that interaction causes you to grow within inside yourself. There are many diet programs out there. They all have some value. None of them can compete with us. And the reason they can't compete is very simple. If you work our program every single 30 days, you will lose only fat and 15 pounds. All natural, no drugs. Therefore, only if we are truly participating, if we're real, can we achieve success. I told the guy who came in today that what I wanted from him was 1 week. I wanted him to commit himself for that week, and regardless of what happened, when he came in next week, he would know everything that he needed to know. When he left, I was uncertain. And the reason I was uncertain is because he and I were not connected. I didn't feel his sense of being clear in his mind. Last week, I brought up Alcoholics Anonymous as a model, and it's part of what I want to talk about with you tonight in order to be real. Alcoholics Anonymous deals with an addiction. Food, when you're overweight and it's not physiological, is an addiction. People do not give up addictions. You have to have a plan. You have to have a program. Alcoholics Anonymous demands that when you join, every single day for 90 days, you attend a meeting. That meeting is with other people who are like you. They admit to each other that they're fallible. They admit to each other that they're human. They admit to each other that they have a weakness. And part of that weakness is to use, in their case, alcohol, and in our case, food, to deal with emotions that are pressing on them and making them feel uncomfortable. They also have something else. You have a counselor. They have a sponsor. The sponsor is someone who knows what it's like to be an addict, and through the program has evolved to the point where that addiction no longer controls them. Our job here, you and I, is to find a comfortable way to connect. In a little while, I will be answering your questions. That's the beginning of connection. But most importantly, we have the opportunity on Facebook to interact without being totally connected. So if we're open, and if we're honest, and if we share our questions and concerns, we can grow with each other. Because the issue of community is what's key. Remember where we came from. We spent 9 months in the womb, and we were totally cared for. Everything was done for us. And then between one moment and the next, we burst into the world, and all of our support was removed. In our minds, what's still there is being held and swaddled and fed by either breast or bottle, and being held close, and the warmth of being held close, and the feeling of the food from the breast or the bottle going into us was incredible. And then as we developed, we separated from that. Now think. You went from being taken care of totally to being totally alone. And then the caring came from the outside, but the feelings were still there. We need to deal with the feelings. And some of us are more comfortable than others in dealing with the feelings. There are some of you out there listening to me who enjoy and you come back, but you never say a word. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the struggle that we have to go through, which is key. Because the old habits of turning to food for comfort are incredibly powerful, and they work. It's a momentary escape. You don't want a momentary escape. You want control. Well, if we share with each other, which is what the secret group, what the AccuList is all about, and what Facebook can be, we can become a community. You don't have to be visible, but if you interact, my strength will go to you. Your thoughts and ideas and your strength will come to me. And as others join us, remember the rule. What you send out into the universe will attract something similar. Negative thinking attracts negative thinking. Positive thinking attracts positive thinking as well. I hope as an initial foray into the visual Facebook, this has been helpful. I want to move now to questions and answers. And so I'm going to turn it back to you, Hans, and let's start with the questions. You answered your own question. Now, here is a rule. Now, either you accept this rule or you don't. It is not a restriction. It's a rule. And here is the rule. If you expect to be successful, you may not use the word no. When you go back to your habits, one of the major habits that people have is trying to say no. And if you think of the number of times percentage-wise that you say no, and then either compromise or give in, you will see that the times you give in or compromise are enormous. So instead of using the word no, you have to have a very simple plan. I'll give you an example. For me, the other day, I was under a lot of pressure because there are things going on in my life, and for the Thursday night event that was being held in New York City, there were all kinds of AccuWeight Loss goodies. I couldn't touch them because if I did, there wouldn't be enough goodies for the event in Manhattan. So I got up and I got in my car and I turned on the radio and I drove around for 20 minutes. Now I know it's just me. I don't have children. I don't have a spouse that I have to be concerned about. But it was a positive action where I accepted the fact that I was escaping from the pressure and I was in control of that escape. That's why I recommend to you the ABS protocol. And one other thing. After my drive, I called my daughter on the phone. And I shared with her what I had done. Why? I wanted to say, good show, Dad. Hans? Please. The answer is a qualified yes. First, let's understand something. Exercise and diet have never been friends. The reason is they are both stressors. Stressors cause the body to increase its production of cortisol. And cortisol, which is the escape enzyme, tells the body that it's in trouble and in part to hold on to fat. So if we are going to exercise, we have to mitigate or minimize the stress. Secondly, we're talking about exercise. We're not talking about bodybuilding. So here we go. Week 1, no exercise. Make the program work for you and make the adjustment. Number 2, if you have exercised before, then you can go back, and I'll explain that in a moment. But if you have not exercised before, then we're starting slow and building up. The key to exercise and success is the blood sugar level. When you exercise, you put your body under that stress, and the body is called on to put out reserves, and blood sugar drops. When blood sugar drops, cortisol is produced. So here's what I want you to do. Now I'm talking about moderate exercise. Don't ask me what that is. It's not heavy duty. I want you to take a bottle and I want you to fill it with some hot water or hot tea, and I want you to melt into that hot water or hot tea 3 teaspoons of honey. The honey is now dissolved. The water no longer, or tea no longer has to be kept hot. As you begin your exercise, I want you to drink the top third of that bottle. Halfway through your exercise, I want you to drink the middle third. And when you are done, I want you to finish the bottle. Honey is very low on the glycemic index, so it will not raise your blood sugar, but it'll keep it steady. Therefore, it will mitigate the stress. You will get your exercise, and I will get your 15 pounds. One other thing. If you perspire when you exercise, adding in it some electrolytes, such as red rooibos tea or Nuun, N-U-U-N, to replace those electrolytes will make you feel even better. Hans? In the interim, Hans, another question. That's a very interesting question. I'm going to use the word invented for want of a different word. A formula for these lollipops. But the United States is very interesting. You can get confections almost anywhere. But I have yet been unable to find a manufacturer. And so whenever I have a supply of lollipops, which I'll talk about quickly in a moment, I never have enough to give out to the entire program. What I have discovered, a mixture of Chinese, Asian, and Indian herbs that are in those lollipops. They're basically calorie-free, and because of the motion of putting them into your mouth, you get the feeling of food. The taste of the lollipops is comforting, and the Chinese and Indian herbs relax you. And people have been using them as a way of avoiding cheating, and hopefully I can find a manufacturer that I can work with. The biggest problem I've had, by the way, with those that I've been able to talk with is they want the formula. And once I give them the formula, well, it's all over. So in the meantime, try the sugar-free Werther's and the ABS protocol. Thanks, Hans. I don't have an exact answer because right now there are too many questions. Losing the inches is something I don't even question. Let's be very clear. AccuWeight Loss is not a calorie program. You cannot be sustained on the number of calories you're taking in. Now, unless you're a big cheater, the amount that you're taking in is on weight loss. If you cheat regularly, the program will not work because you're going to burn muscle, organ, leach minerals from the bones, and it's going to lower your metabolism. So what I need from this person is either to send me an email with a phone number or to call me at the West Orange office, because there are personal questions that I need to ask to determine what the issue is. Now think about this, people. In the 19 years I've been in business, except for an undiagnosed thyroid condition, no one who's stuck with the program has ever lost less than 15 pounds. Therefore, the reason is hidden. It could be as simple as you're not drinking enough water. It could be that you have an undiagnosed thyroid problem. It could be your adrenals. There are answers. We can find them, but we have to share and talk. Call me. Email me. I'll get back. Hans? A number of people have reported that what I suggest is that you start taking digestive enzymes. And there are many different brands of digestive enzymes out there. And so what I suggest is that regardless of the brand, they're all basically the same. But one of the digestive enzyme ingredients needs to be betaine, betaine, HCl, which stands for hydrochloride. If the digestive enzymes do not have betaine hydrochloride in them, then they are not complete. And if they are not complete, they will not do the problem. The metallic taste is from a deficiency in your digestion. Hans? The answer is as long as it's 0 calorie, such as in the Walden Farms products, the answer is absolutely yes. In fact, when I'm sometimes feeling a little cold, what I do is I take some milk and I take the Walden Farms tomato basil. I add some of the tomato basil into the milk so that there is a taste to it, and then I slowly heat it in the microwave so as not to disturb the content until it's at a heat that I like, and for me it makes a terrific tomato soup. Hans? The only immediate reaction I have is that whatever it is you're doing to flavor those vegetables is what the problem is. So the first thing I would do is I would go back and restart your next vegetable day with salad. Excuse me. By the way, that's a first. And that's diet iced tea. No vodka. Just pure diet iced tea. I would go back to salad and start with that. And I would make my special dressing, which, as you know, is the Good Seasons powder, together with a blend of water, meat of an avocado, putting the Good Seasons powder in, which makes a wonderful dressing. And then I would start to flavor the vegetables. The Bragg's liquid amino is wonderful. And for those of you who haven't tried it, the Himalayan pink crystal salt is wonderful. And it's healthy because all the minerals are in it, whereas table salt has everything refined out except the sodium and the chloride. And so you don't have a balance between the sodium and the potassium, and that's why table salt causes so many problems. So I would try using either the Himalayan crystal salt or some real Celtic sea salt. But flavor is really your key. Hans? sounds just like me. I hate to admit it, but except on rare occasions, I don't like water. What I have gotten into, and there are quite a few products out there, I like carbonated water or seltzer, and there are these stevia, xylitol, zero-calorie flavorings that I put into them, and so I can control the amount of flavor and the flavors, and they have given me the ability to markedly increase the amount of water intake. So look for flavor and look for some of the products, and as you test them with different flavors, you will see it makes a significant difference in the amount you're able to drink. Hans? Sorry, that would be wonderful. Here's the problem. AccuWeight Loss is not a calorie diet. It's chemical. The milk days liquefy fat. The fruit vegetable days high in enzymes dissolve the liquefied fat. It's 2-2 because proportionally there is enough liquefied fat for the enzymes to dissolve, and there are enough enzymes to dissolve the liquefied fat. Alter the chemistry, and you're now on a low-calorie diet. For a short period of time, your weight loss will continue. You will begin to burn muscle and organ, leach minerals from the bones. And the reason it's difficult is psychological. It's not physiological. And that's one of the things I want you to think about. This program is not forever. You said you wanted to lose weight. But now you're letting your child self who says, gee, I want to have fun on the weekend, I want more, to rule your life. Get real. Get honest with yourself. I'll answer any questions if you want to talk with me. If that's it, Hans, I'm going to say good evening. I would appreciate if all of you like me on Facebook, because that will help. And I hope to see and hear from many of you. Thanks for coming.